morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. It is May the 13th, 2021. And actually, no, it's not. Today is May the 14th, 2021. And the topic is buy and sell. Buy and sell. Well, to be honest, I did not do my full routine this morning. I ended up just stretching. I didn't do my warm-up portion. I guess for good reason, because you guys see I'm recording on time. You know, it's I started at like 5:45. But anywho, yeah. But you know, I did do my prayer meditation and all that good stuff. And yeah, so how did I get to this buy and sell? Well, I can't sit here and say that I remember every detail, but I do believe I had some type of end times-ish dream. And good morning to the first, whoever's watching me live. Yeah, I had some type of end time-ish dream. I don't remember all the details, so unfortunately, I don't feel comfortable in this moment to try to tell you exactly what it was and what all happened. But yeah, and so maybe that's one of the things that led me to this topic today. I did my prayer meditation and everything like that. And honestly, I didn't necessarily think about the dream throughout my morning routine or whatever. I think, I remember having it, or I remember, it's like I just remembered it after I did my whole situation. And then I was like, oh yeah, I did kind of dream about something last night. But anyway, yeah, so, well, then, did everything, whatever, prayed and meditated, X, Y, and Z, and then, and I got a little distracted afterwards. I, ended up, sharing some things online and just scrolling and doing all that little stuff. Then I was like, no, I need to focus, X, Y, and Z, and as soon as I decided to do that, the phrase buy and sell came into my mind, looked it up, saw these verses, and here we are, and so, yeah, I mean, I think I've been honest that, this whole end times talk can be a little bit scary, for lack of a better way to explain it right now. I mean, I know that God hasn't given us the spirit of fear and all that stuff, so I mean, I'm not worried per se. However, I mean, it just, like I said, when you look around and you see all the things that's going on and everything like that, and then, as someone who has read, what the Bible has to say about this, or about the end times, or about, like, times such as these, I can't help but, be a little concerned or try to, like, figure out, like, well, what does this mean, and where are we on the timeline, and all that stuff like that. And everything. And then even so now as a mom, it's like I have to sit here and think about my son, you know what I mean? Like, where would he be? What would he do? And all that. So, but so, hey, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what the Lord showed me this morning in these verses and whatnot. So the first verse I came across was Revelations 13, 16, and 17. It says, also, it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Now, the interesting thing is, the other day, Saturday in particular, you guys know I did that episode with Allie and everything like that. And so afterwards, I sat down, me and my husband kind of sat down, my son was asleep and all this stuff. And we just kind of was chatting a little bit. And this subject came up, this whole buy and sell subject. And I can't even remember how or what, but the buy and sell subject came up. And I did express my concern to him because I feel, and it's just me, making an observation about him. I kind of feel as if he would take the mark to like try to help us. You know what I'm saying? To be like trying, and I mean maybe it's the wrong interpretation of him. You know, maybe he's stronger than that. X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying like I did express to him that, hey man, you know, I would hope that you wouldn't do that. Based on what I read about, you know, what happens to people that do that. I would rather us, you know, trust God, suffer through God's way rather than take that mark. You know what I mean? Like, and I know people are concerned about the vaccines, right? People are concerned about like all the stuff that's going on right now, and you know, some are wondering if it's the mark. There's some pastors that kind of have confirmed that it's not necessarily the mark, but it's kind of like the thing that's like testing out this idea of the mark, is what I'm hearing. And you guys can, hey, you know, by all means, go to your spiritual guides or not. Well, if you're Christians, y'all, then check out some pastors. If your pastor's not talking about it, honestly, I mean, I say let God lead you and guide you and whatnot. Some pastors you can check out online that actually talk about this subject would be Greg Laurie with Harvest Ministries. I hear him talking about this subject, and then I've also heard Pastor David Lynn of Christ Forgiveness talk about this subject. So if you want to hear some sound doctrine in regards to this subject, I hope that you guys check those gentlemen out. And you know, if you don't have someone, you know, speaking on these things, because I mean, you know, I guess at the end of the day, you know, it's in the Word of God. You know, it's a warning for all of us. So yeah. So I mean, you know, hey, you guys can check them out to see the things that they've had to say about it, and then of course pray about it, and you know, see what God tells you. Now, when my husband and I were talking about it, he is under the impression that the mark or these marks that they're talking about is probably not physical. I don't care. Personally, I don't care if it's physical or not physical. What I'm saying is, like, let's not be a part of that group, is what I'm saying, regardless of if it's physical or not physical. To me, it sounds physical. But, you know, I guess I can understand, you know, because I guess he's saying what, you know, he's pretty much just like, you know, basically it's a mindset. Like the person of the mind, it's like a mindset, because people that would get that already have that mind that they would do that. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe, but regardless, you know what I mean? Regardless, you know what I mean? I can't sit here and say yay, nay, or be like, oh, well, no, it's definitely infinity, you know, whatever. It sounds as if it's a physical mark to me. However, you know, again, I guess everybody can be led by their own minds and whatnot. All I would say is, you know, just be mentally prepared, regardless, I guess, for this season, because it's just, I mean, but I mean, honestly, because like I was sharing with him that day or that evening, you know, it's a little bit concerning to me, and honestly, because like I think I've spoke about it before. It's like, you know, we're all kind of spoiled, especially us here in America and whatnot. Like, we're all kind of spoiled in a way, right? You know, we get things quick. You know, we can order food quick, all these things. And so if the whole buying and selling aspect is controlled to the point where you can't do it unless you do whatever, right? Whether unless you think a certain way or unless you get a mark or whatever the case is, then that, I mean, would change things for a lot of us drastically, right? Okay, so let's just say, I'm just saying, just even the controlling of the buying and selling by itself, like let's not even talk about the mark, right? Someone else controlling the buying and selling, so much so where you can't do it unless you do what they want you to do. You know, that, I mean, who feels like they're close to that now? I mean, I don't know. Look, I'll wait. Who feels like we're close to that? now with this whole, I mean, to a certain extent, like I said, I've been able to, order things and get things brought to the house and, stuff like that. So, but if someone then says, it's, there's already these stipulations of, well, you can't come in the store unless you have this mask on, or you can't go do this unless you do. So then at this point, it'd be like, you can't buy or sell unless you have the mark. And it's like, well, can I get somebody with the mark to bring me some groceries? Like, well, what can I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know what that would look like, honestly. I honestly pray I'm not here for that. Because that just, but I mean, you hear these different things. You hear about, like, whether the rapture is before or after or during or all this stuff. So it's like, oh Lord, like, I don't know. So I guess at the end of the day, I pray more so for strength, right? I pray for strength and boldness and faith and whatnot. So I hope prayerfully won't have the mindset to fold, yield, or bend in that area. Because, well, check this out. So, if I move on to Revelations 20:4, it says, "Then I saw the thrones, and seated on them were those who, seated on them were those to whom the authority to judge was committed. Also, I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded for the testimony of Jesus and for the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or its image, had not received its mark on their foreheads or their hands. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years." Look at my pastor voice. I'm not no pastor. But let me stop right there. So, now listen, okay. So here's what I'm seeing here. And this is just me doing a little Bible study. By all means, read this for yourself, and see what the Lord show you. But from what I'm seeing here is this whole idea. It's like, okay, so there's the options, right? The options are getting a mark, or doing whatever these people tell you to do, or having the mindset, whatever it is, somehow it's some type of mark, either on your hand or your forehead, because that is repeated several times. So whether that's a physical mark or not, I don't know, but how else would they know? Like, I don't know. But to me, I'm like, how else would they know whether or not, unless to me it sounds physical. I'm just gonna keep it at that. But anywho, so the options: buy or sell, right? Being able to buy or sell, or refusing and then not being able to buy or sell. Okay. Now, if you're able to buy and sell, then I guess you can, buy and sell. You can, buy food, sell food, or all this stuff, right? If you're not able to buy and sell, obviously you're gonna have a hard time eating and all that. Then it says here that John, if I'm not mistaken, the author of this part, was saying, like, saw the souls of those who had been beheaded. Let me stop right there. Because every time, like, Pastor David Lynn would talk about being beheaded, I'm like, my goodness, like, I know this is a practice that, being beheaded, all I can see is like the guillotine or something like that. Like, or those images that I saw in school, in the history books or whatnot, about the guillotine and everything like that. And maybe I'm saying the wrong one. I don't know. It's whatever time in the morning, y'all. Guillotine. I don't know. That's the only image I got in my mind of being beheaded. I guess outside of just people with axes. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? But and now maybe it's not a physical beheading. Maybe it's some type of other beheading of some sort. maybe, but it just, okay, so the choices, right? I mean, okay, my side note to that is, like, honestly, anytime I've heard Pastor David talking about it, I get, I was going to say I get nervous, but then, I mean, I don't know if I necessarily feel nervous in this moment. I think it's just, who wants to get beheaded? You know what I mean? I don't think anybody want to die that way. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody want to die, honestly. I don't think most people want to die. So then imagine if you're going to die by being beheaded. Like, I mean, goodness. Like, yeah, that's horrific. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, if it's like, get this mark or beheading, I mean, I guess people would, lean towards, oh, well, let me go get this mark. But then, on the flip side, right, on the spiritual side of things, and I know this is going to be, I don't know, because, like, again, let God lead you and everything. Like, this is just what I'm observing, what I'm gathering from reading this stuff, is that I'm seeing here a temporary fix versus an eternal thing, right? Because although those that are going to be able to buy and sell and stuff, they'll be able to, you'll live, right? You won't be beheaded, right? And you can buy and sell. However, on the flip side, and then I guess, on the flip side, you die, you're beheaded, and whatnot. But according to this right here, it says here, again, those who had not worshipped the beast or its image had not received its mark on their foreheads or their heads, or their hands, they came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years. Now, I mean, and you guys can go into, I don't know if I'm going to talk about, like, what those that worshipped, what happened to those people. And I meant to, but you guys probably have to go deeper to see that. I am going to talk about what happens to the beast momentarily, but then, on the flip side, it don't look good for those who take the mark, right? And those who do that. So, do you want the instant gratification of, instant gratification of a moment or eternity? Like, that's the question, right? So, yeah, it's just one of those things to think about. And that's a tough decision, right? Like, because people question the afterlife, people question the whole thing. And a lot of people feel as if there's nothing beyond this, right? Nothing beyond, like, what we currently see. So yeah, I mean, y'all, these are just the things, you know what I'm saying? These are the questions, these are the things, we all can go deeper on it and see what the Lord say and see what you decide in your own mind, like what, what's important to you, I guess. Yeah, just something to think about and let marinate on today. Now, Revelation 19:20, it says, "And the beast was captured, and with it the false prophet, who in its presence had done the signs by which he deceived those who had received the mark of the beast, and those who worshipped its image. These two were thrown alive in the lake of fire that burns with sulfur." Good morning, Shade Tree. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. A little missed you yesterday, I think. Yeah, so that's what happens to those individuals that deceive all those people. Now, again, I mean, from what I'm understanding, and again, I didn't write down the verse, so you guys have to look at it on your own. But from what I'm understanding, that same thing happens to the people that worship those people, and believe those people. But you guys got to go deeper and see for yourself. I'm just saying that's what it says about those that, those two individuals, the beast and the false prophet, that deceived many. Now, so the Go Deeper section is going to be like one section here that I haven't. It's going to be Revelation 14, 6 through 11. And that is kind of talking about I think it's 4, if I'm not mistaken, but the 4 angels that are warning people about these individuals. And so I think, okay, so here's my thing. Here's my thing as I think about this. Because like I told you guys, my husband questions about whether the, mark is actually physical or not and all of that. I just think, and this is just me, I just think the more that people question about whether things are real, right? Is this going to be a real mark? Are these going to be real people? Are these going to be, is this really going to happen? All these things, I think the more people question that, then the more when it happens, it's people are going to be shocked, right? Or people are going to be surprised, or people are going to be confused or something like that. And it's just I think, and not to say assume, you know what I mean, or whatever, but we probably should, just mentally prepare that this may be just as physical as it's saying. And if that's the case, then we need to be at least mentally prepared. If we live through this at all, it's we need to probably mentally prepare to fast, mentally prepare that, hey, you may not be eating 3 meals a day. Honestly, and this is just me and my little personal opinion, I feel like people that are living off the grid are a heads up on all of us. Because they're already kind of living in a way where it's they're surviving without all the bells and whistles of modern technology. Maybe they got some modern technology, but what I'm saying, they're already kind of got a leg up, in my opinion. Especially if they're living off the land and growing their own food and all these stuff, is man, they might, I don't know, man, maybe we need to go get a tiny house or something. I don't know, man, they just mentally prepare for this situation, because I don't know, but it's just y'all pray for me, I pray for you, that we make it through this situation if we live in these times. But verse 13, and so it's Revelation 14, and then verse 13, it says, "And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord, from henceforth, yea, saith the Spirit, that they have rest from their labors, and their works do follow them." So yeah, it may be, you may be saying, and this is Bible as well. At one point, it's those who save their lives will lose their lives, but something like that. And vice versa, those that I pretty much trust God or lose their life for the sake of Christ, or whatever the case is, saves their life ultimately. So it's one of those things where it's I tell you guys all the time, everything seems to be reversed, right? The things that we hold dear, the things that we try to worship outside of God, or whatever the case is, it's those are the things that don't really mean anything at the end of the day. So I don't know, y'all. All of this is just something to think about, something to let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds today. I know it's deep. I know if you decide to read these verses and check out the Go Deeper section and everything like that, it can be a little concerning. But like I say, for me, what I'm doing at this time, I'm just kind of praying for my faith. I'm praying for more boldness. I'm praying for my mind and everything to prayerfully be ready for such, if such happens in my lifetime. And then, to do what I can to prepare my son, and everything like that. Because, it sounds terrible, honestly. All of this sounds horrible. And it's who wants to live through such things? And like I said, I mean, and there's a lot of different ideas out there about like, well, maybe the rapture will happen first, or maybe the rapture will happen midway, or no, it's not going to happen until after all that stuff happens. Obviously, optimistically, it'd be great if it happened before, so then that way, all of us that are currently believing in Christ and whatnot can just go ahead and just be caught up in, whatever case is. And then, but I mean, obviously there's going to be some type of believers that are still here in order for all this other stuff to go on. So it's like, I don't know. So I don't know, y'all. But it's just something to think about on today. Now, the Bible verse of today, which I'm telling y'all, man, it's just beautiful every time to me how, and I'll talk about this a little bit, I guess, in the after show, but I don't know, it's just so beautiful to me how God just brings all these things together every time, like, out of nowhere. Because it seems like out of nowhere that some of these topics come, and then like when some of the things come to my mind, sometimes I question it, but now I'm trying not to question it. Like I said, the first thing that popped in my mind this morning when I thought of this whole thing was buy and sell. And, instead of questioning it, I just went ahead and like try to just go ahead and look up verses. But sometimes, when something pop in your head, you be like, what? Is that really a topic? Let me look, And so, but that's just me and my process, I guess. But here we go. Bible verse of the day. Habakkuk. Hopefully I'm saying that right. 3:17 and 18. It says, although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the field, and there shall be no bread, or there should be no something. So my apologies. I don't know what I wrote there. There should be no something in the stalk. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. I want to wrap it up there, but I just want to say, man, how beautiful is that, right? Like, I hope that we make that our prayer, right? Make that our mindset. Make that our heart. Make that our way of thinking. Whatever it is, like, cause to me, and like I said, it's just so interesting how it all goes with everything that I've just talked about. If you're at that point where you have nothing, like, can you still have joy? Can you still trust God? Can you? And if you can say you can, like, I think, you might be, I guess, on the right track, or, just something to think about, y'all. That's all, hey. I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Tonight is Friday, y'all, so you know that there's a episode of God, Sex, and Love, the talk show. Is actually going to be live tonight at 7 on our YouTube and our Facebook, and yes, eventually on GodSexandLove.com. I'm going to be chit-chatting with Miss Veronica Monet of the the Shame Free Zone. So you guys can tune into that at 7 if the Lord's will. But yeah, y'all, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Hey y'all, I'm Nyla O'Neal with Anchor Providing Institute. We're located at 737 South Hill Street in Griffin, Georgia. Look, this program was birthed out of a will to help and push you closer to your dream, customizing each and every learning path for each and every student, giving you hands-on education with myself and other teammates. We're here to help you and drive you to be the best version of yourself. Look, we're a 12-week program, and it will be vigorous, but it will be worth the work. Put the work in, you will see it in the end. We are dedicated to seeing you not only finish our program, but to get certified. We are an accredited school through the National Phlebotomy Solutions, and we are so ready to meet each and every one of you. Contact us today.